Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kristin and I love to craft. Today we are going to be doing some Cricut crafts. I have already cut out the vinyl with my Cricut. I have a Cricut Air Explorer 2. And let's go ahead and get started on the first craft. I picked up this picture frame from Hobby Lobby a few years ago. I bought several of these just because they are so pretty and you can use them for pretty much any occasion. And what the boys did is they painted their hands, put them down, and so this is just a great way to remember Father's Day for 2025. And so I cut out Ashton and Brady, and then of course the year. We are going to use our weeding tool to go ahead and weed out the letters. And if you are looking for some great vinyl, I purchased most of mine on Amazon, and they will be linked down in the description box below, so don't forget to check it out. Okay, so these letters are super tiny. They are about less than an inch tall, and so I just had to have like complete silence in order to weed this out. And whenever I was doing it, some of the letters actually moved a little bit, so I'm going to try and reposition those. Okay, so I was able to straighten up those letters again. Now I'm going to weed out the inside of the letters. Now I'm going to use some transfer tape and just peel off the backing like that. And then I'm going to kind of fold it up like a hot dog and just roll it down. Next, we're going to take our scraper tool and just go over it a few times. Make sure that that vinyl has adhered to your transfer tape really well. And then we are just going to peel this up and then roll this back. All right, that actually looks great. I am going to trim this down a little bit because I'm actually a little bit worried that the paint from their hands is going to kind of peel up a little bit. So let's just try to minimize the transfer tape that we are putting on here. All right, and then we want to center it as best as possible. I thought about putting it somewhere down here, but I think that's going to look a little bit wonky. So we are going to put it directly in the middle. And then I'm going to take my scraper tool again and just go over the letters. Make sure that they stick really, really well. And then let's peel up that transfer tape. Oops, looks like that one needs a little bit more work. And this one needs a little bit more work as well. I'm thinking because it's really textured, that's why it's not sticking down as well. But it looks like this one's stuck down. Yeah, I think it's going to stick really, really nicely. So let's take a closer look. Okay, and here's a closer look. You can definitely tell that it has that gold foil on there. I love this vinyl so much. This is going to look really nice on our nightstand. And I'm also going to put a picture in here, so don't worry, I'm not going to leave it blank. But let's go ahead and move on to our next craft. Up next we have a t-shirt, and I'm going to take our lint roller and get all the lint off. We are going to be using some vinyl, actually some heat transfer vinyl, and we are going to be putting it on the t-shirt. I found a bunch of images that I wanted to use, but it was really hard just to narrow it down. Okay, so I think that I lint rolled it as best as I could. Now I'm going to set it to the side. Okay, and while the heat press is warming up, we can go ahead and weed out our image. A little handy tip, if you get tired of the vinyl sticking to you, because sometimes it has like a little bit of static in it, I like to just stick it along the side and then I go back and trim it down. And this one says, I keep all my dad jokes in a database. I thought that that was just so funny. They had tons of other ones that I saw on Pinterest, but this one was definitely my favorite. So let's go ahead and press the t-shirt. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to do is to press the t-shirt. This just gets the wrinkles and the moisture out if there is any. So this is my new heat press and I love it so much. I'm currently filming for a new craft room tour because I've gotten so many new gadgets. So that's why the press is on a mini table, because we are currently reorganizing and getting everything set up for that. So I just want to show you this one. This will be linked down in the description box below just in case you are interested in picking one up for yourself. But it turns on the side. So you pull this little tray out here and you can also swivel this to the side as well. And we are just going to put the t-shirt on here. And then we will swivel it back around, push this under, and then it clamps down just like that. And then you could set the temperature and the time over here as well. But we are just going to do it for a few seconds just to get those wrinkles out. Okay, now I'm going to fold the t-shirt in half. That way that we can create a line down the middle. And I just want to press along that line so that we have our center for the t-shirt. And again, you only need just a few seconds for that. And then we'll take our image and put it on top. I like to fold my images in half and put a little crease on there so that I know exactly where the halfway point is and I can match up those creases with the crease that we just made for the. And we are going to add on just this little protective sheet. Push it under and clamp it down, and then we are going to press start. Okay, and then whenever it's done, it just beeps, so I like to just press reset. And then we are going to pull it out, swivel that around. Okay, so let's go ahead and peel off that top layer. Okay, and here it is. What I like to do now is just take it back to the heat press it one more time, and I will be right back. Test it again just to make sure that that vinyl did adhere to the t-shirt, and of course it did. So let's go ahead and move on to our next project. Okay, next up we have some can koozies or can coolers, and these are in the Sublimation blanks section over at Hobby Lobby, and I went ahead and printed my image. I found some images on Canva, uploaded them to Cricut, and used the print then cut feature. And what I want to do now is just trim it down, and we are going to tape it to the koozie with some heat resistant tape. I have my paper trimmer here, and this is probably one of my favorite purchases this year. Okay, I'm definitely going to have to cut around this one a little bit because I don't want those black little marks on the can koozie, so let's just trim it out, I guess. Let's go ahead and set this to the side. Now we are going to take some of that heat resistant tape and we are going to cut off little pieces. And don't forget to mirror image your image, otherwise it is going to look backwards. Trust me. Oop, and that is the heat press. It has now heated up again, but trust me, I have printed out the image and pressed it, and it was completely backwards. So don't forget to mirror your image. All right, let me cut some more tape. I think that this is enough tape, so I'm going to take it over to the heat press and press it, and I will be right back. Okay, so now let's go ahead and peel it up. Oh my goodness, that is so stinking cute. Wow, that color is so pretty. I'm not a big fan of the creasing from the paper, so I've definitely got to figure out the pressure and all of that, but I definitely think that he is going to love it. Okay, so I went back to the heat press and I pressed it again, that way that the crease could come out, and it pretty much did. It's not as noticeable now, but it definitely did flatten the neoprene inside of here, so it's definitely a gamble. I'm definitely going to have to study up on these a little bit more, but it's definitely cute. All right, y'all, and here is how the crafts turned out today. I had so much fun making the koozies. These are definitely going to be a huge hit for upcoming seasons, and even football season is coming up here in a few months. And so these are going to be perfect for, you know, making a bunch of those. But I definitely had so much fun crafting for Father's Day. I hope that I've inspired you all to break out your Cricut if you have not used it in quite some time and create something new. But I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!